What were your impressions of Crush?
We like Crush. That whole thing came about as during my years of Japan, I had consumed a lot of sushi, in particular shrimp, lobster, crab, and I had built up a toxic level of iodine in my system. Whereas one bite of shrimp threw me into anaphylactic shock, and I had an out of body experience. And the doctor equated it to somebody taking drugs, and they take, 2 lines of Coke, and then they get the same reaction, so they have to up it to 3 and 4, and that half a sniff will kill them. And he said, that's what's in your system. It just builds up, and it takes 7 years to leave your body, but as you're consuming it, that extends and extends and extends. So now I can't eat shrimp, lobster, any type of shellfish. Then I developed an allergic reaction to bee stings as well as a result of that. So that contributed to, Crush coming in, because instead of giving Barry, I went through a series of tests for about 4 weeks before they could nail it down. Instead of giving him a 4-week vacation or a 3-week break, the tickets were already sold. They could have announced that Demolition's not on the card tonight, maybe given some tickets back, but no, they had to bring in substitutes. They brought in Anvil Demolition and Piper Demolition, all these guys. They could have extended that too, and then rushed Crush in. And Crush was young and green and inexperienced, and he felt self-conscious because Barry and I were one-take interviews. We didn't make the interview sessions 2 and 3 times. Boom, tell us where we're at, who we're going against, when is it, that's it. And we'd take the interview, boom, first take. Well, Crush hadn't done that before. Now he's put in a position that he doesn't feel comfortable because he's not sure if he's ready for it. And the pressure's on him, and he would make a mistake, and then they'd have to do it over again. And the guys say, Demolition doesn't do 2 takes, 3 takes. It's one. It makes him nervous. It wasn't his fault. And then a substitute never is looked upon as the original.
Right.
Even if you're better, you're the substitute.
Right.
So he had a rough go of it. But as far as traveling with us and being a good teammate, he was. It's just there again. It's sad. He died early. Died way too young.
Yeah.
So too many good guys that passed on.
He was really in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Sad. Yeah, Crush's a good guy. I worked at Crush before. Very
nice guy.
Very sweet guy. Like, he was just very gentle. That was my impression of him. Like, he's
And
very gentle.
he had a good sense of humor. He didn't rib you or anything, but he liked telling jokes and having fun. Yeah, it's sad. We often think of all of our friends that have passed on, that it doesn't matter if you're butthead or not. You're just too young for guys that we associated with to pass on.
So talk to me about Crush. Had to be like when you came to the territory, I feel like it was probably weird for Randy. When Crush came to the territory, it had to be weird for Bill.
Well, no, Bill was, he had an allergic reaction to shrimp. Mm-hmm. So he almost died. Thank God he didn't. And, we were booked, 2 months ahead of time already. And Bill was in the hospital, and they couldn't just all of a sudden cancel all those dates. So they had to bring somebody in. And that's when they brought Crush in. And Bill totally understood it, And when Bill came back, he was going to end up being an agent later. So, that was kind of the plan, and Crush was going to move in. What was hard was when you had Axe and Smash together, and Axe and Smash were the ones that got over. When you bring a third person in, it's hard for that team to be over like it was without the original team. And Crush was, I love him. He was one of my best friends at the time. And he was a really good worker, but it was a little bit different for him to come into a team that was already, set. And he did a great job by doing it. But you know how long it takes to get over. And just because the team was over and you bring a new guy in, it doesn't make you get over. The fans are so smart. They need to look at him and go, oh yeah, we like him or we hate him, And he was thrown in a position in a really tough situation. But we ended up having some good matches, and that's when I was saying the Road Warriors came in at that time too, and that really put a halt on Demolition. I mean, they tried everything to change us back to heels, and the people liked us, and they didn't like the Road Warriors because they were from down south, and it was just a real tough situation. And if they would have let the Demolition get over again, and maybe Bill be our manager, or however they worked it, and then let the Road Warriors get over with somebody else, now you would have had two over teams and then put us together. You know what I mean? But they never did any of that. And I can't remember a lot of stuff. I've been hit so many times, and I can't remember all the details of why things happened or what happened. But it kind of just, that was kind of the end of the Demolition when Bill got sick at that time. And it was sad because he was the greatest partner,
Yeah, I mean, you and Crush could have been, let's say you guys were a better team than you and Bill. It still wouldn't have worked like you and Bill, because you and Bill were Demolition.
Well, right. But at least I wish they would have gave Brian a chance to get over with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just by coming in and being one of the Demolition, you're over, but you're like the middle guy again. You're not the top guys,
Right.
That's kind of how I felt. But there's nothing you can do. Bill got sick, and all that happened at the time.